Hello, I'm Ross Twaddell from Cultaholic. You are a sexual wank pheasant, and welcome to all these WTF moments from last night's thrilling instalment of SmackDown. And no, I'm not being ironic. I'm not being a massive dick. I am, but that's besides the point. Last night's episode of SmackDown was good. We had Tamina, whoa, etc., etc., looking like Goldberg did in Goldberg's prime. We had Michael Cole, he was fantastic. He was actually funny more than once during the show. We saw 3 really fun matches with some fun moments, some fun commentary. All of it was fun with a capital F. And then to top it all off, if that wasn't enough, everybody at home, we saw a murder. Something professional wrestling does really, really well. It was a good SmackDown. Hit the intro.
WTF! WTF!
Mago. But the first WTF moment of the night came courtesy of Michael Cole when he said that we know that Miz and John Morrison will defend their tag team titles at WrestleMania. Neighbours. And my immediate thought was, Michael, after the news that came out yesterday, do we know this for sure? Now I know that Vince McMahon's personal feelings on sneezing and stuff like that will blink at his judgment when it comes to what the right thing is to do in the face of what's going on in the world at the moment. But bloody hell, if the reports are true and The Miz did indeed rock up to some recent WWE tapings, a little bit disturbed, he might have been down with the sickness. Wow! That's how that goes. He certainly shouldn't be on the WrestleMania card, let alone in the arena where WrestleMania is taking place. He should be in his house with Maurice and the kids and the Dergs. Unless, of course, his WrestleMania match took place before he was seen to be ill and before he was tested and stuff like that. To be honest with you, I'm really struggling to keep up with all the news in terms of what's been taped and what hasn't been taped and what's been taped next week and what's been taped this week. I just don't know. Mago. And after seeing this here, now I think I know. Maybe. I don't know for sure. I think that this week's episode of SmackDown was recorded before the news came out about Roman Reigns and before the entire wrestling world and WWE universe imploded. Michael Cole also reckoned at the start of last night's SmackDown that we know that Roman Reigns will challenge Billy G. He's not my champion. He's just a bold man that beat the Fiend all one-on-one. But again, this just brings up the issue. What has been recorded? What has not been recorded? If Roman Reigns' match was recorded before The Miz rocked him to the tape and sick, I guess we're fine. And I guess they're fine to continue to promote this match, which might not be happening if Roman's match was going to be recorded after The Miz turned up sick. I have no idea. Roman Reigns, put your health first. Whatever's going on, you're doing the right thing, pal. Mago. Bayley has been SmackDown Women's Champion for a record 308 days, said Michael Cole. And once again, he's making this massive number sound like one reign. Michael Cole, it's something more along the lines of 168 days combined is and has always been your friend, you numpty. And then we have Bayley, who said WrestleMania is where the best of the best compete. And of course, the first noise that came into my deranged mind was whoa! Because as you know at home, we all know, everybody knows that Tamina is the best of the best of the best of the best. I cannot wait for WrestleMania, me. And then we have Bayley claiming that Paige will be jealous of her entire year as SmackDown Women's Champion. Now I know that Bayley, as a heel in the professional wrestling, should be saying these blatant lies to make us dirty, stinking marks at home really, really angry. But you just know after Michael Cole has got the stats relating to Bayley's SmackDown Women's Championship reign wrong so many times over the last few months, there's some boffin backstage actually telling Bayley to act like she's held the title for that consecutive amount of time. And I just want to know why. Why are we being told to forget Charlotte Flair beating Bayley at Hell in a Cell 2019? Surely, if you want to forget anything to do with WWE Hell in a Cell 2019. It's that pissing Hell in a Cell match with the Fiend and Seth Rollins and the Little Hammer and the Big Hammer. Don't use the Little Hammer because the Little Hammer is against the rules of Hell in a Cell, where there are no rules. Mago, 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 mago. And then we had Michael Cole. I'm not going to do the impression because this needs to register in your brains. He saw Tamina and he said, and I quote, "And here comes the wild card in the match." Michael Cole, you get out of town, you absolute dick brain. For my money, as a hack on the internet, no, I mean a fantastic wrestling expert, Tamina has to be the odds-on favourite for this SmackDown Women's Championship match at WrestleMania because she is the competitor who is most at home performing in front of 4 walls of absolute nothingness, no noise whatsoever. She's done it for 9.5, 10 years now, Maggle. And what's more, Michael Cole, I don't see any other competitor in that SmackDown Women's Championship match who has a trained driver's license. Tamina has one. We should all get on board. The Tamina train is finally pulling out the station. And Sami Zayn claiming that Shinsuke Nakamura had, and I quote once again, one of the longest and most successful Intercontinental Championship reigns of all time. That's just different levels. Different levels of bukkake. As we all know, Shinsuke Nakamura won the Intercontinental Championship at Extreme Rules 2019 all the way back last July. He then defended that championship on 4-ish televised events, and I say ish because 2 of those defences, one came at Smackville and one happened at Starrcade. Before, of course, he went on to lose the thing to Braun Strowman on January the 31st of this lovely, wholesome year. And again, I know Sammy's a heel and he should be saying things to rile us up, but that is quite frankly, Sammy, taking the piss. Shades of the Big Show murdering Kurt Angle that time on Smackity Down way ago. Shades of Mufasa dying a death. What's too soon? But just in case you haven't seen it, big baldy bastard Baron Corbin has murdered WWE superstar Elias by pushing him off that Velveteen Dream / William Regal / Triple H plinth thing. But the noise Elias made as he tumbled to his death, smacking his lifeless body off the concrete on the arena floor, it was weird, wasn't it? Now to me, it literally sounded like one of the whoop 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 at the start of Bianca Belair's theme. Honest to God, go back and watch it. It was a full-on whoop whoop-ah as he fell through the air. What's that about? But that noise and the fact that this week's SmackDown was pre-recorded so WWE edited in that noise has just made me all the more excited for WrestleMania next weekend. Get all of the sound effects involved, WWE. Please, just for the sheer banter of it all. Bray Wyatt brings out his big hammer in that match against John Cena. Do a boing noise when it hits John Cena right in the face. Oh, it's going to be so good in the worst possible way. But at least with this murder attempt happening, first of all, WWE will have to suspend big baldy bastard Baron Corbin without pay for, remember, attempted murder. And Elias, of course, will surely not be medically cleared to compete by the time next weekend, which is like 7 days away, remember, rolls around. So at least there's a silver lining to this lovely murderous cloud. As WWE will have to cancel one of the most pointless matches, proposed matches at least, in WrestleMania history. So that's a good thing. No, there's social distancing, Nikki! Now I laughed when Maggle Cole said this because first of all, that was funny, Maggle. And secondly, I laughed because that's WWE's Michael Cole saying that while he was doing the job he was doing during this week's SmackDown. Professional wrestling and stuff, with people wrestling inside the ring. You'd think, by and large, this whole pandemic thing doesn't exist in that world, would you? And we've got to make it a WTF moment, everybody. That noise Nikki Cross made when Alexa Bliss hit a dropkick on Asuka. Nikki, of course, was mid-sentence. Alexa does the dropkick to Asuka. Then all of a sudden, Nikki Cross turns into Rick Mail. It was a weird noise. Now, I'm not here to king shame, of course, but Nikki Cross dropkicks, of all the things to get you going. I never saw that coming. Now, as we saw Alexa Bliss defeat Asuka clean, remember, on this week's SmackDown, a thought flashed up in my mind. It took Becky Lynch like a whole year to do what Alexa Bliss did in one night, and that was a bit weird for me, a bit of a disconnect. It was a clean win for Alexa Bliss against Asuka. No shenanigans, really, was there? Was there? I can't remember. I'm going mental. And it was at this point of the show I was thinking this is just getting too feckin' awkward now. This has to confirm that whatever Roman and Goldberg are doing at WrestleMania has already been recorded. Surely. Because surely WWE can't be doing with Roman Reigns what they did with John Cena at the Royal Rumble event of 2019. Promoted John Cena being on that card all the way up until the start of the kickoff show, remember? Before they went, oh no, sorry, you won't be here. Immoral bastards, don't do that again. So of course this week's time-filling match from the past thingy saw JBL on commentary as Roman Reigns took on Triple H in the main event of WrestleMania 32. So I've made enough noise already, so why the hell not? It's John O'Clock, you bastards! Up there! Now that segment of Triple H analysis was absolutely fantastic. Straight from the top drawer of the gamer, as we need to get the golden shovel out once again, little shovel there. It's there, look. He basically stood there, and yes, he dressed it up all fancy and whatnot, but this was quite literally, in terms of words, a pig in a wedding dress. What? You know what I mean. He stood there and basically said Goldberg, he can only wrestle for a little bit of time before he's absolutely cream crackered, the silly old goat. Which of course, as we all know, is absolutely true, but when you're hearing it from him, who should be promoting this match to be the biggest thing happening ever in the history of the world, seeing the disdain? Was the disdain? Seeing what he was saying about Goldberg, it's just a bit weird, isn't it? He just cannot help himself, can he? When there's a shovel to be shoveled, he does the shoveling, haha. He pooped her. He's an alien. Now, as we heard that Bray Wyatt is going to debut a Firefly Fun House match at WrestleMania 36, a quick reminder now, what WWE put on the last time Bray Wyatt debuted a new stipulation in WWE. Now, I don't want to write off what the Firefly Funhouse match could be before the thing has actually happened. That would be terrible of me. But looking at what's happened before with this Bray Wyatt character, when they've gone out the ring and filmed stuff on location, I cannot wait for WrestleMania to see what utter mess they put on this time. Lots of sound effects, please. Poor John Morrison. Now, of course, we heard Michael Cole say, no, Nicky, social distancing is a thing, which he should be saying, of course. So look at how close Jomo is to a man in The Miz who might or might not have been ill when this SmackDown was recorded. I don't know what to think anymore. Miz and Morrison, massive numpties, just as catchy as Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey, ho, ho, I'm sure you will agree. Have they ever watched the professional wrestling before? We all know that when you are a champion and you're watching a number one contenders match, if you, the champion, who is normally a commentary on ringside just like they were, so brilliantly by the way, on this week's SmackDown, but when you hop in the ring or to ringside like they did last night and attack the participants in a number one contenders match, of course, you're always going to get a triple threat and make the job of defending your titles way harder than it ever had to be. Why did they do it? And that's it for your WTF moments from this week's thrilling installment of Smackity Down. As I said, a very good show under the circumstances. A lot of things to enjoy, but a lot of things to ponder. With WrestleMania now just 7 days away. I don't know what this is going to look like. What?